All right, today we're going to dive into two ideas that are honestly mission critical in project management these days: resilience and integrated risk management. And to really get our heads around them, let's imagine we're the captains of our own ships, navigating some pretty unpredictable seas. So let's set sail. So let me just start by asking you this. What do you think is the biggest threat to your project? Is it a sudden budget cut? Maybe a key person walking out the door? A deadline that just keeps creeping closer? We all have those risks, right? The ones we plan for. But what if the real danger is something you're not even looking for?
You know, the biggest threat is almost always the one you just can't see coming. In the project world, we call these emergent risks, or my favorite, the unknowable unknowns. Think about it. It's like a sudden squall that never showed up on any weather chart, or a massive iceberg that just materializes out of the fog. These are the kinds of threats that can sink even the best laid plans.
Okay, so if we can't possibly predict every storm, what in a world are we supposed to do? Well, you can't control the ocean, but you can control your ship. And that brings us to our first huge idea: project resilience. This is all about building your project to be so tough, so sturdy, that it can take a massive hit from one of those unexpected shocks and just keep on sailing. Let's get a little formal for a second. The official definition of project resilience is the ability to handle risks after they've already happened. Now, this is a total mind shift. See, traditional risk management is all about trying to predict the future. Resilience, on the other hand, is about building the strength and the flexibility to react when the future, as it always does, surprises you. So how do we actually build this resilient ship? Well, it really comes down to 5 key things. First up, ample supplies. This is your emergency contingency, money and time set aside just for the storms you don't see coming. Next, adjustable sails. This means your processes have to be flexible enough to let you pivot on a dime without losing your destination. Third, an empowered crew. Your team's got to be trusted to make quick decisions right there on the deck without needing to call for permission for every little thing. Fourth, a constant lookout. You need frequent reviews, always scanning the horizon for the earliest warning signs of trouble. And finally, clear charts. This means getting consistent, clear input from your stakeholders so you can navigate around new threats by tweaking the scope or the strategy. Okay, so we've built ourselves a really resilient ship. That's fantastic. But here's the thing. No ship sails alone. It's always part of a bigger fleet. And this is where we have to zoom out from our single project and look at the entire organization. It's time to talk about coordinating the whole fleet's response through something called integrated risk management. And this is so important to remember. Your project never, ever exists in a vacuum. It's part of a program or a portfolio. It's one ship in an entire fleet, and you're all sailing towards the same big organizational goal. A threat to one ship might actually be a threat to all of them, or it might be something that requires the whole fleet's help to solve. This brings us right to the heart of integrated risk management, or IRM. It all boils down to this one simple but powerful idea. Risks should be owned and managed at the appropriate level. This is absolutely crucial. Because if you try to solve a problem at the wrong level, imagine a ship captain trying to fight a war, or an admiral worrying about one single frayed rope on one ship. It's just inefficient, and frankly, it's dangerous. Let's break that down with our analogy. A project-level risk is basically a threat to a single ship. Maybe your sails have a tear. That's your problem as the captain to solve. But an enterprise-level risk, that's a threat to the whole fleet. Think of a massive, uncharted current that could throw every single ship off course. That's not a captain's problem. That's a problem for fleet command. Now, this is where that beautiful coordination really starts to happen. Sometimes fleet command sees a risk on the horizon and they delegate it down. For instance, they might get intel about supply shortages at the next port, so they'll delegate the job of rationing supplies down to each individual ship captain. You see, that's a higher level risk getting managed at the project level. But it's not a one-way street. The communication has to flow the other way too, and that is escalation. If your lookout spots a hostile fleet on the horizon, well, that's way too big for your single ship to handle. Your job, your duty, is to raise the alarm to escalate that threat up to fleet command immediately, so they can mount a defense for the entire fleet. And when you get that two-way communication system humming, delegation flowing down, escalation flowing up, you achieve the ultimate goal: a completely coordinated, totally coherent approach to risk management across the entire organization, from the deck of a single ship all the way up to fleet command. So we've talked about the resilient ship, and we've talked about the coordinated fleet. The big question now is, how do you bring all this together? how do you become that resilient navigator in your own professional life? Let's get practical.
Here it is, your navigator's checklist. First, and this is non-negotiable, you have to build resilience into your project, your ship, from day one. Then, secure that extra contingency, not for the risks you know about, but for those unknown storms. Empower your crew, because trust builds speed. And this is huge. Understand the rules of engagement. Know which risks are yours to handle, and just as importantly, know when to swallow your pride, raise the flag, and signal for help from the fleet. And above all, never lose sight of your project's role in the bigger mission.
So why does all this matter? Why go to all this trouble? Because this integrated approach isn't just about dodging bullets or avoiding disaster. It builds something called risk efficiency. In plain English, that means you're creating a system that squeezes the absolute greatest value out of any situation, no matter how risky it is. You're not just surviving the storm, you're actually learning how to sail faster because of it.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. When you get back to your own projects, ask yourself this question and be honest. Is your project a truly resilient ship, ready to weather any sudden storm? Or is it more of a fair weather vessel, just kind of hoping for clear skies? Because sooner or later, the winds are going to change. And when they do, the answer to that question will make all the difference in the world.